question of how wise it is to let the trade deficit grow larger and larger, because when you run a, when you are in effect buying more from other countries than they're buying from you, you are handing them investment funds. I mean, it's the nature. You give them little pieces of paper, and they can convert that into buying. They can buy government bonds. They can buy buildings here. And Japanese bought Pebble Beach in the 1980s when they were running a big surplus. I mean, so you are giving up claim checks on our country, essentially, in exchange for having more consumption now than you're producing in this country. And so I do think that there's levels of trade deficit that bother me. I had some system that did not make it country specific.
But with China, it's $1 trillion. And we have to solve our trade deficit with China. We have $1 trillion trade deficit with China. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year we lose with China. And unless we solve that problem, I'm not going to make a deal. Now, I'm willing to deal with China, but they have to solve their surplus. We have a tremendous deficit problem with China. They have a surplus of at least $1 trillion a year. I think it's like $1.1 trillion. China is, they say the market's smoking. The market of China is right now taking a big hit because everyone knows we're right. They have to pay tariffs because otherwise we have a surplus and they have a surplus with us that is not sustainable.
Mr. President,
and we're talking about $1 trillion, you know that, right? We're not going to lose $1 trillion with the privilege of buying pencils from China.
Why is the US always in a trade deficit with China? Let's make sense of it. China buys about $147 billion worth of American goods every year, mostly high-tech, agriculture, and energy. But the US buys way more from China, around $427 billion in 2023. That's why there's a big trade gap. The US sells semiconductors, soybeans, aircraft parts, and energy to China. But it's still not enough to balance the scales. The result? A trade deficit of around $279 billion. Now you know why the trade gap is so massive.